Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So today, you guys, I am going to do the third installment to our Tales of a Chronic Relapser series. So before we get into that, I want to please ask you guys if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell. When you go to the bell, click it and then choose all. And for those of you guys that are new and are just joining the Real Talk Recovery family, you can catch me live here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. On Monday nights, we do step studies. On Wednesday nights, we do story times. And on Friday nights, we have our MERA meetings, Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous meetings. So I hope you guys will join us and stick around and join the RTR fam. So, okay. Oh, and for those of you that want to talk to me or hang out with the people that are in the chats, not just in the chats, we have a Discord chat called Real Talk Recovery. We have a Facebook group called Real Talk Recovery, and then I also have a Patreon, which I have 4 tiers. There's a $3 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier, and a $25 tier. And I have Patreon only live streams on Sunday nights at 7. So all kinds of different options. So get in where you fit in, okay? All right, so let me think. Okay, so the last story time I told you was about the time I went to Quapaw House and relapsed. So now the next time I relapsed that I really put effort in to trying to stay sober was when I went away to South Arkansas Substance Abuse. So kind of let me take you guys and let you know how that went. I hope you can see me. Okay, so maybe I should stand up. Yeah. So it was the year 2008. I had just caught my charges for possession of a controlled substance. If you don't know how I caught my charges, I will link the video in the comment section below to let you know. Or, yeah, I'll let you know. But I caught a charge for possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamines. And so I was on probation for 3 years. Well, the first year of my probation, I failed every single drug test. And about 10 months into my probation officer was about to revoke me and send me to prison. And so instead of sending me to prison, she said, I'm going to give you another chance and I am going to let you go to rehab. So what she did was she called a treatment center down in El Dorado, Arkansas, called South Arkansas Substance Abuse, and asked if they had an opening, and they did. And so they took me and I went straight there. Now at this rehab, when you got there, you didn't go straight into like the regular population. You had to go, like I had to go through detox because I was coming off of methadone and Xanax and Klonopin and methamphetamine, but I was coming off hardcore opiates. So I needed to go in there and detox. So I was in detox for about 5 days in the treatment center. So when you walk in the treatment center, they have the front desk and then they have a whole hallway that's dedicated to just rooms for clients that are going through detox. And the way they detoxed you there is they didn't give you any medicine. They just watched you and made sure you're okay, checked your vitals, and you kicked there in the treatment center. It was hard. That was one of the worst detoxes that I've ever had. I remember I was so embarrassed because I was trying to go to the bathroom and I couldn't make it to the bathroom, and I had an accident all the way, all over the floor in my room, and I was crying trying to clean it up by myself, and the nurse came in there and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm shitting on myself. No, I'm not okay." You know, like I was just, it was bad. So I made it through detox and went into general population, and this place, you guys, was so cool because they had these basset hounds. You know, the hounds that have the ears and they look like that all the time. They're really short legs. They had 2 basset hounds and they had just had babies. So there was 7 little puppies. And part of the residents' jobs was to make sure we feed and watered the hounds every day. And so it was like the dead of summer at this time. It was like 112 degrees outside. So a lot of the times me and the girls would sit out on the back porch and play with these dogs after our classes. So I got to know some really cool kids. Of course, every treatment center I've ever gone to, I always work in the kitchen. So me and this guy named Mexican Mike, we were working in the kitchen and doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I can remember one time where I did a whole breakfast spread. We had waffles, we had eggs, we had bacon, we had sausage. I made Mexican eggs and cheese burritos. It was just so much fun. And I think about it because I was having a good time sober. In this treatment center, I made really good friends with a girl named LC. And me and LC were playing volleyball one afternoon, and she fell and hurt herself, and she was crying. She couldn't get up. And I went over and I grabbed her and I picked her up and I took her inside, and she had ended up breaking her ankle. Me and this girl were bosom buddies in treatment, you guys. Like, we got so close that I went into the shower with her and like held her up because she couldn't stand. She was on crutches. And so I'd help her wash herself and everything. Like, I was doing really good. I was learning about recovery, and I was staying sober and having a good time sober. Well, right before it was time for me to graduate, the treatment center was like, you know, Nicole, you're doing really, really good. You're doing good. We want you to succeed. Why don't you stay here? And we'll help you find a job. You can live in the halfway house here, and you can start over fresh. And I really thought about it, but something in my mind, at the time, I was like really head over heels for this guy named Adam, right? This guy named Adam, and Adam was actually in treatment at the time. He had written me from, what's that program called that's a year long? Teen Challenge. He had written me from Teen Challenge, and I don't know why I was so concerned about what he was doing, but I was like missing him, and I was scared to move away from Hot Springs because then I would be away from my family, you know. And now when I look back on it, like, I should have stayed there. If I had stayed there, it would have been so different, you guys. I probably would have stayed sober. Like, I really loved that treatment center, and the people there were good people. But I wanted to come back to Hot Springs, and I wanted to be around all the people that I knew. And I had a job. I was working at Rolando's at that time, which is a Mexican restaurant. And I had got promoted at my job, and they saved my spot. Like, I was working as the assistant manager. And so I remember when I left to go to treatment, I told my boss, and she was so proud of me. And she was like, don't worry, when you come back, we'll have your job for you. And so I came back, and I started working back at Rolando's, and I was doing so good, you guys. I was doing really good. And one night I was working, I had like a 60 top outside on the patio, and I was taking cheese dip. And the way we had it, we had this cheese dip called queso flamato, okay? And what you would do is you would pour liquor on it, rum I think, on the top, and then you would light it when you got to the table, so it would be a fire cheese dip that was flaming. It was so cool. And so I was taking this cheese dip, and I was holding it like this, and I poured the rum on, lit it, and for some reason, I guess I had it tilted, I don't know, but that liquor ran down my hand, and my whole hand caught on fire. Oh my God, which hand? Oh, it was this one. My whole hand caught on fire, and I still, to this day, I don't know if you can be able to see it. Yeah, okay. Do you see this scar right here? That is from my hand catching on fire. Well, I worked the rest of my shift. That's how I am. I put some mustard on it, wrapped it up, and I worked the rest of my shift. My hand was so bad, you guys, the skin was bad. So I went to the emergency room. And instead of telling the emergency room, hey, I'm an addict, I can't take opiates, I didn't say a thing. And they prescribed me Norco 10s. I remember like it was yesterday because I ate those bitches in one day. And then that monster inside me was awoke, and I wanted more. And so after I took all those hydros, I went out and found me some methadones, because at that time they were like, methadone was everywhere where I lived. And so I got some methadone and some oxy, because at that time it was Oxycontin at the time. And I was just snorting them oxys, all right? And then I relapsed on cocaine, and I was banging cocaine. And so I was back full-fledged in my addiction. You know, all it took was one accident, and I didn't tell anybody. I kept it a secret, and I went and I got them pills and I ate them. Another thing that I look back on it and I realized that's where I went wrong was I came back from El Dorado to Hot Springs, and I didn't get a sponsor. I said, okay, this time I'm going to do it differently. All right. Last time I tried to work with my sponsor and do all that stuff and it didn't work. So this time I'm going to try and just like work, go home, work and come home, go to church with my mom and dad, all that kind of stuff, right? So I was doing really good. I was going to church with my mom and dad. I was working. I was putting in work, you guys. But the thing about it is, I love my higher power. I love the Lord. But I needed someone who understood my addiction, okay? And I needed to be able to talk to somebody that could help me with that, all right? And I believe that God can, really help you to heal, but I truly believe that you need to be talking and working with someone who knows what you're going through, a therapist, a counselor, a sponsor, a mentor, someone, because there's going to come a time where you need to work through some issues, and you're going to need someone who's been where you've been. And I just know that from experience, because that's what happened to me. It didn't matter how much I went to church. It didn't matter how much I prayed at the altar. I was still having these thoughts about using, and I was having triggers, and nobody else understood it. I couldn't talk to my mom about it. I couldn't talk to my dad about it, And so all it took was that accident at work happening, and bam, I was like, okay, well, I need these pills. I'm hurt. My hand, I had to wear, it was so bad, you guys, the skin was coming off of it. My whole hand was lit on fire with rum, and it was bad. It was like the moment that it was like, just like they say in the big book, that you will be without defense. I had no defense against that first drink or against that first pill. It was like the opportunity arose and bam, I ran with it, okay? And that's what happens to us addicts. We could be doing good for years, 6 months, 3 months, and then all of a sudden we're faced with the drug. We're faced with the opportunity, and we don't know how to respond. And see, that's what happened. I wasn't learning how to respond if that happened when I would go to church. I wasn't learning how to respond or how to act from my mom, because she didn't understand. So all I was doing was saying, I'm quit, I'm sober, and I wasn't working on any kind of recovery. And so that's what happened. I relapsed. And like I said, I really wanted to be sober. I was doing so good. I really enjoyed that treatment center. I learned so much. And then once I relapsed, guess what happened? I got sent back to prison. Or got sent to prison. Back. I got sent to prison. I had never been before. And so I had only been to county jail. So I got sent to prison. I got sent to county jail, sat there for about 60 days, and then they shipped me off to prison in Pine Bluff. So all because I was not willing to work on what I needed to work on, which is learning about my disease and working with someone who could understand and see through my manipulation, see through my excuses, and hold me accountable. So I hope this helps you guys out a little bit. The next episode will be about, let me think. The last relapse that I really feel like I had tried to get sober at was whenever I was in RCA. that'll be that one. And then the next one will be whenever I get sober this time. Okay, so like I said, don't forget, subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've been in this situation. Leave me some comments. I'm going to be answering them down below. I love interacting with you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Love y'all.